Hey, so the last time you saw this, you saw inputs and got to see the power of inputs being able to just declare something here in the back end. It will show up on screen, and then we can just easily and synchronously add that and put it somewhere else. Now I'm going to show drop downs, but also dependent drop downs. By drop downs, I mean choices. I'm actually not going to do drop downs right now, but I'll show dependent choices. So you can pick one, and it's similar to a drop down, except it displays all of them at the same time. So you'll see. I did recorded this so many times where I typed this all out. Probably not doing that again. I'm just gonna Control Z after deleting some stuff, and hopefully you could follow along pretty easily. So the first thing is I declare a variable called ice cream, and I say io.choice, and basically um, it puts a choice on screen. Pick your favorite ice cream. All pretty self-explanatory. The only thing that's not is this right here. And what this is an ID, and all the IDs are optional. You don't have to do any work with IDs if you don't want to, for the most part. If you're just getting data, the only time you're going to need an ID is in forms, because when the data gets sent back into a form, you have to then resolve, like, okay, which object am I talking about? Since beyond a certain point in JSON objects, order isn't guaranteed, but I'm not getting into all that. You're just going to need an ID. So right now, I'm going to set one called ice cream, and it's going to give me that response. Then I'm going to add something like a name. Notice I'm not putting display here. I'm not putting display because display immediately will send something on screen, and then what goes back into the variable is the answer to that. So we don't want that right now. Actually, what we want to do is put a form on screen and then have the components put up. So we're just creating the components. Name equals io.input. What is your name? Then lastly, we're going to have the response. And so there's a form component as well. And I wanted to show that there's a description. So io.form, this is a form, and it has a set description function. And I'll set the description of that. It adds the components ice cream and name. And notice we're not setting anything for name. It's kind of going to be a little lost to us. There are ways we can get the data back without assigning IDs, and you can add a clause to a form called return array, which will return an array and try its best to guarantee the positions everything was in. But there is no guarantee of that because of JSON in the backend. So uh, we display this on screen. It goes into the response. The response, a JSON object, and then we just do response.ice_cream, which is a variable we created here, and we'll do the switch statement on that, which basically says you chose vanilla or you chose chocolate. So let's go without a doubt, or without further ado. Let's go into here. It runs, and it has this form. It says this is a form. This is a description. Pick your favorite ice cream. And so we pick one. We're gonna pick vanilla this time, and we gotta remember that. What is your name? We put Jonathan. And then when we submit the form, it says you chose vanilla, and so we can run that again, and then just choose chocolate this time. So I'm gonna choose chocolate. Same thing. Let's just put John this time. You chose chocolate. And it's just that simple and that easy to be able to put things on screen and get information back. Right here, all I do is put headers. So there are input components as well as output components. So header is an output component where you just put something onto the screen. And it's a header, and I put it at size 3, but if I wanted it bigger, per se, I could do the same thing, but set the size to 1. So go over here. I'm going to choose chocolate this time. I'm going to put John again. And it should say you chose chocolate, but a lot bigger.